Well, it has been a couple days of small rains, but enough to keep us out of the field. We were in the field last 2 days ago, so yeah, it's been a couple days. It's been good. Got some personal errands done. So we've got our other semi-truck hooked up to our other trailer. We've got automatic trap rolls on them, and this motor in particular has seized up and is just all locked up and not working. This one over here works. It's brand new last year because the motor on that one seized up last year. But having a hard time locating a motor for this one right now. I'm gonna end up just having to weld something on here or just put a non-permanent fixture on this rod so we can turn that. We can turn the trap with a pipe wrench, but the traps on this trailer, they're not like the ones on our other trailer. It's a Wilson, but it doesn't use straps. Just the mechanism to open the door is different, and it makes it a lot harder to open that door, especially when there's all the pressure of the grain pressed against that door. So we're gonna work at that and have a manual way to open those doors. Alrighty, so I've gathered up some parts. Here's the crank from our other trailer, and that is how it slides onto the shaft of the other trailer. Obviously this one doesn't go in there, but I located some older bolts, some square bolts, and they fit in here just perfect. But since I don't want it to be permanent, I'm not going to weld it on that shaft directly. I found this old PTO shaft, not been used in a long time, but this will slide right over top of there, and I can just pin it on to that shaft. There we go. Perfect. So take this over to the trailer and see if it slides on that shaft. It should go right on, I think. Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. Then I'll go ahead. I don't even have to drill a hole for the pin, I don't think. So we're gonna go ahead, weld our nuts right there. Get the welder set up. We'll open up our gas tank all the way. I am no welder, but the setting I weld most mild steel at, because it's mostly thick stuff, is 21 with a wire feed of about 275 to 300. And there we have it. We'll see how that works. Finished product. I had to weld each of those little nuts together. I didn't do that earlier. Forgot about it. Blue truck's ready to go. Red truck's ready to go. cat tractor, same as it was, ready to go. We're gonna go try some corn now. The ground is still a little tacky. Obviously it's gonna be too tacky for soybeans, so we're gonna go for corn. It'll be good to get some corn done. I know we need to get a couple fields out so that we can haul manure onto those fields because our manure pits are getting a little full. And those are manure pits in our hog buildings. It's just an annual thing where we've got to have those drag lined or tanked out to our field. I think Brian's over messing with the dryer right now, making sure that's cycling. Oh, actually he is just getting back, so I think we're gonna go ahead and go over and start that field. So this will be good. We'll see how it runs. Probably getting everything calibrated for corn. We're gonna go ahead and hop in here with Brian to ride over the field and open it up. Well, that field's gonna go. It's a little wetter than we'd like, but like I said before, we gotta really get that hog building site pumped, the manure out of those pits. So we're gonna go ahead and harvest it. It's running about 25%. We'll see if we get into some drier spots. We probably will. But yeah, I'm gonna bring this grain cart over and we'll get going on that. And it's gonna be great. Grain cart is over. Dad's gonna run me back to the house. We're gonna grab that semi, that red semi, and bring it over too. These bad boys are gonna come in handy now that it's muddy. Got the truck back. Should be good to go. Once we need that other blue truck, Dad's gonna bring it back over, so that'll be good. First load of corn going in the truck. Well, Brian had to go fix an issue with our paddle conveyor that takes the corn from the pit up into the wet bin, so he's gonna take that truck home, get that resolved. I think it's an electrical thing. We're gonna hop into the combine and fill up the grain cart and do some harvesting. Looks like a full grain cart to me. Things are running really well in here. It's always fun to combine. Except for when it's not. Like when you're broken down. it's always enjoyable to run the combine for a bit, but Brian hopped back in there and I'm bringing loads to the bin site, which I also enjoy, so it's good. Things are running really well. No issues have arisen, which is always a good thing. That field we're in currently is about 40 acres, but yeah, it's usually the field we start with every year. We'll get the rest of that field knocked out tonight and move on to the next one tomorrow, I think, as long as the moisture is not too high. Otherwise, we'll see what the ground does. Maybe we'll switch back to beans, who knows? So last night we finished that 40-acre field. That went really well. Everything worked good, which is always nice to see, especially after you've done some major work on equipment. But this morning, I'm going to check the oil in the combine and fill it up with fuel and get it started and warmed up. And we've got another 70 acres to get done today, so that'll be great. All right, so we've got our fuel going. Come back here. Here is our fill, and our check is in here as well. It's looking a little low, so I might add a little bit here. I'm here in the red truck charging up the air. Ryan took a few passes out of this field, got a couple of the end rows out. Really wet, wetter than we want it. It's probably running like 26% moisture, which is wetter than we want it. We need to let it dry down for a few days. There's a field that we got to go over to, take a couple rows out of there because that's where they're going to pump the manure out of those buildings, and they're going to drag line it over to a bean field that we had gotten out. So we're just gonna take a few passes through that field so they can take their drag line hose over to the other field. Well, we got those two passes taken out of the end rows of this field. We are going to head over to another field and check that one, see what the moisture's like in there. That one looks like our driest field so far. So we're just gonna hop around, check it out, see how it goes. If it goes, maybe we'll take some more acres out of it. If not, we'll just do a little bit of the end rows and get the dryer running, make sure that's all working properly. Now we're doing a lot of hopping around and we're not really being that efficient, but we're really just trying to get something to go here, see if anything's ready. I mean, if it's not ready, it's not ready. It's just the way it is. It's not like we can really do anything about it. So, I mean, we know the beans aren't ready yet, so we decided to try some corn. That 140-acre field went. We probably could have let it dry down a little more, but it was fine. And so, yeah, efficiency is not the name of the game right now. We're just trying to see if we can get anything done. And if we can, we'll go at it. But otherwise, we're just trying to find something. From first glance, it looks pretty dry, but if you look down at the stalks, they're still pretty green. But we'll see what the monitor says. Alrighty, so we are back at the bin site. We're gonna go ahead and start running this dryer and get that pile in the center cored out so that any grain that we add to it right now, because our trucks are full of really high moisture grain, all that grain can get sucked into the dryer first and not go out to the edge of the bin.
So to fill it, power on, it has to be on auto, and then go fill maybe. Leave that alone, and then you go and crank that open a little bit, and it should shut off.
Where you can see through the dryer over here because of all the perforated panels, and you cannot see through it over here. So the grain is filling this little section right here next. So you'll see it'll start to climb in a second. You can see the levels right about there. It's slowly climbing up. And it'll do that, and it'll just go across the whole dryer. This auger, this incline auger, brings the grain up, takes it to a vertical auger, or a horizontal auger, that drags the grain across the top, and it drops it into each one of these cavities. So once the dryer fills up all those cavities, the grain will come up here and hit a pressure switch, which will shut the whole fill system off. But after it's full, we'll go ahead and turn on the heat and the fans, and it'll start to dry down the corn. All right, the dryer is full. You can see that little viewing window up there. There's corn in it. It cycled itself off. So we'll go ahead and kick on the burners and heat it up and begin the drying process. Alrighty, well, everything is set and running well with the dryer. We are going to unload our 2 trucks of wet grain and then probably head over back to the field and keep on harvesting that field, because the moisture, as we got further and further into the field from the end rows, the moisture was going down, so that's good. So we're just going to keep on taking off end rows on that field and hauling it over. Alrighty, well, finally made it back to the field. We're gonna go ahead and continue harvesting this field. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. To be honest, this video has been spanned over a few days. I'm really lost in where it is in my head, and we've done a bunch of random stuff, and there's been really no kind of rhyme or reason to this video, but we are going to keep on going on this field a little bit, and once the fields are a little more ready, we'll get going. But until then, it'll probably just be some more preparation and odds and ends getting wrapped up. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Sure is beautiful out here though.